Okay everyone, this is PJ. I'm going to do the second video, and the second video is how to best start up the boat. So the boat right now is at the main dock. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to go into the boat either from the front piece, which is higher up, or this time I'm going to jump in from this back bar. Okay, and then we've got to check and make sure we have gas. So this red tank back by the engine, the gas tank. You just turn it open just like you would open anything else. You can swirl it around. Looks like I have a half a tank or so. Okay, what you're gonna do if you need to put gas in is get the big red funnel, put it in here. If you have two people, that's great. One person can hold the funnel, second person holds the gas can. You invert it and you have to press down that little black thing and red thing like I showed you on the gas video. Okay, make sure you don't overfill it. We don't want to get any gas in the lake. That's the most important thing. Okay, so just do your best. Okay, keep your eye on it, fill it a little bit, then take the funnel out, look and make sure. Okay, just keep your eye on the level. Okay, remember this thing is flat this way, so you can put a lot in before the level rises up. Okay, all right, so then you close that back up nice and tight. You come over here to the steering wheel and the starter motor. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. There's the steering wheel. All of these top buttons have nothing to do with the operation of the boat. So unless you're doing something like have the nav lights on, have the anchor lights on, want to use the live well, use the bilge, which is to get extra water out of the back of the boat, or if you want to use the GPS, or maybe someday we'll have a radio, accessories, you'd use these buttons up here. But just for normal operation of the boat, these should all be off. And the good thing about being off is they don't drain the battery. Okay, let me just turn back around to show you where the battery is that runs the starter motor. So the main battery is right here in this black box next to the fuel tank. Okay, so that's the important battery. Okay, now one of the things you're going to notice about the engine is right now the engine is in the up position, okay, which is a good way to store the boat. Okay, and you don't want to start the boat with the engine in the totally up. What you want to do is start the boat where the engine is part of the way underneath the water. Okay, so to do that, we're going to take a look right now. Right here, I don't know if you can see it, but this is the throttle. This guy just to the right hand side of the steering wheel. So the throttle in the steering wheel is the way you're going to drive the boat. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to use the trim. The function of the trim is to bring the motor up and down. So right now the motor is all the way up. We just want to go down. So you can hear that noise. When I'm pressing down, I'm going to let you watch the motor go down. Okay, so we're going to put the motor into the water, turn the steering wheel so the motor is nice and straight. Okay, so we can start the boat with the motor all the way under the water. That's probably not a bad way to do it. When we go to back the boat out, since it's a little bit low here, we're going to bring the motor up a little bit. So where are we going to bring it up? We're going to bring it up just to the point where it can still suck water into the engine for cooling. Okay, so we don't want it to be trying to function without the cooling water. So it can't be all the way up. So I'm going to go to the level to show you what that maximum level is. I'm doing this now because when you put the engine on, it's going to be loud. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to the trim, right? Back to the trim on the throttle, and I'm going to go up. Okay, and when I go up, I'm going to try to go to a place where I think is reasonable. So it's going up now. I'm going to show you. Okay, I could probably go a little bit more. Okay, as long as that black bar above the propeller is under the water, you're okay. So that's probably about as far as you want to go. Okay, it's about, the black bar is probably like an inch underneath the water. Okay, so that saves you from if you're hitting a rock when you're coming in. Okay, so you're going to use that trim when you're driving the boat. Every time you get afraid, oh, it's a little low over here, you can bring the motor up out of the water, even while you're driving it. Okay, when you're in deep water, like anything more than like 6 or 7 feet, right, then you just have it all the way down. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to use the trim one more time, take it all the way, go to the down position, start the boat in the down position. Okay, it's always, this is the safest way for the motor, but it's not the best way to be driving the boat in low water. So that's the difference. Okay. All right. So next thing I'm going to do is going to put the key in. Okay. Now, just like an old-fashioned car, this is a 1990 boat. The key is going in. Not going to turn it. Just going to put it in. Okay. So now, if you notice on there, I got 2 spots. I'm going to turn it to run. Okay. And then I'm going to start it. Okay. If I push in, see, look where it says underneath. It says push to choke. Choke means choke the engine, which means give it a minimum amount of air. So give it a higher gas to air ratio than you ordinarily would if the motor was warmed up. Okay, so you're only going to choke it once per day, the first time you start it in the morning. So when I go to hit start in a minute or two, okay, I'm going to turn this to start, but since it's the first time of the day, I'm going to also push in when I hit start. Okay, and it'll crank, and you'll know when the motor comes on because it'll get a lot louder. Okay, one other important trick though before we do that. Okay, this motor starts a lot better when you have the throttle on a bit. Okay, so how do you put the throttle on? You push in this button at the bottom, and at the same time you're going to move the throttle into the forward position. But since you have the button in, it's not going to turn the propeller. It's only going to allow the engine to start. So let me see if I can do that while I hold the video. I'm going to push this button in. Okay, I'll do it with this other hand. I'm going to push this button in at the same time that I press up on the lever and go forward. So here we go. A little hard to do. I'm going to do this, push in, and go forward. Okay, so I go to the first click. Right? If you'll notice now, guys, this button is in, right? That means I don't have to worry. The boat is not going to go forward because this button is in. If this button was popped out, then I would break free and go forward when I tried to start it. The engine won't start, okay, when it's in that position. Okay, now I'm going to cheat a little bit more. I'm going to go even a little further. As long as that button is in, I'm okay. Now, I'm not going to full, okay, but I'm going to go between the first click, somewhere about here. That's what I notice is the best. So I'm going to take a step back and let you take a good look at that. Okay, so there's the throttle. It's 3/4 of the way forward before I start the boat. And I got the button pressed in. Okay, so you can notice it's pressed in. Okay, here we go. So first thing I'm going to do, since it's the first time in the morning, I'm going to choke it. So I'm going to push in while I start it. It's probably not going to start on the first time. That's okay. Then when I go to the second time, I'm not going to push in. Only choke it once. Okay, so here we go. Choking. Starting, and it started. Wow, I'm surprised. Then what I do is I'm going to just pull this guy back. Okay, if it didn't start on the first try, which usually it's not, honestly, then the second time, don't push in, just go to start. Still keep it in that same spot where the throttle is a little bit forward, right? Button pushed in just runs the motor. Let's go take a look at the motor now. Motor's all the way down. It's spitting water out, right? That's the cooling water. That's good. Okay? All the way down, everything is good. All right, let's bring the motor up a little bit to the place where we should pull the boat out. Go back to the trim and go up. So I'm going up on the trim button. I'm looking at the boat, at the engine. What do I feel comfortable with? It's gurgling, but it's still under the water. See how it's still spitting? All right, that's okay. Okay? So from here on in, we're just going to drive the boat. Very easy for driving. Forward is push the throttle forward. Back is push the throttle back. Always wait between going forward and going back. Wait a second or two. So, you know, go, if you're in forward and you go to neutral, right? Neutral is straight up. Just count 1, 2, 3, and then go to reverse. Okay? All right, I'm going to end the video right there because I can't drive the boat and take a video at the same time. Good luck. Have fun.